Hey y'all, welcome to another one. So today I'm going to be talking about broadhead selection. Now I want to start this off with saying I am not an expert, I'm not an engineer, any of that kind of stuff. I'm just an old simple East Texas boy that raised up around hunting, been bow hunting for over 15 years now. And I've got a handful of broadheads here, most being top of your line broadheads that I have used for several years, each one. I kind of want to explain individually on the different types of styles, whether it be 3-blade, 2-blade, mechanical, fixed, weights, cut diameters, that type of stuff. It's going to be, it's not going to be extremely into detail, but maybe I could help someone new to hunting that's looking to, what broadhead do I really want to get, what's going to work the most effectively, and I'm going to tell you what's worked most effectively to me and why I am going to the broadhead I'm going to this year. So without further ado, I'm going to move straight into mechanicals. So I have 3 mechanicals here. I have the Rage 3-blade. I have the 2-blade Schwacker, and I have the 3-blade Grim Reaper. You've all seen each one of these broadheads in your local archery store, Walmart, sporting goods stores. They're very readily available, and that does make it convenient. Now I'm going to start out with the Rage. The Rage 3-blade Extreme, I believe this is, yes, with the chisel tip. This is the head that I started bow hunting with, which a lot of bow hunters do. I mean, it's the coolest one you see in the package at the store, and not very bad priced. They come with a practice tip. So what I want to say about the Rage is that I did kill several animals with the Rage, and they did do great for blood trails, and they pretty much all around did their job. It's a one-time use though. That was my thing with the Rages. They were one-time use. Every single animal, and I am going to catch some hate over this video, I'm sure. There's going to be some comments in the comment section that are probably going to just rake me over the coals, but every time I used a Rage, when I shot it through an animal, the blades were curled, damaged, maybe even broke off. They were a one-time use. Now, yes, you can remove the blades and replace them, but that was the main reason I gravitated toward the Grim Reaper, but I'll get to that in a second. The Schwacker was the second head that I went to. Killed lots of hogs. I don't remember if I actually harvested a deer with the Schwacker. I can't really say on that, but they held up really, really well. You could use them, several times. Did their job. Like I say, I harvested a few pigs with them. But it's a 2-blade design, and I'm going to get to that in a minute on why I gravitated back toward the 3-blade design. Now, as far as the Grim Reaper, the Grim Reapers are my absolute favorite mechanical broadhead. I have harvested so many animals with a Grim Reaper, and I'm going to show you some video evidence. I actually harvested a doe that was a terrible, terrible shot. Very low light situation. I had to wait forever. I was drawn back forever. And, I mean, excuses, of course. Everybody has them. Well, there went the bottom to it. But other than all the excuses, it made a terrible shot. Actually hit her in the butt. It was a doe. Hit her in the butt, in the femoral artery, and she wound up about 150 yards away, expired. The Grim Reaper is just they do extreme damage, and my absolute favorite head by far. Just the blood trails are absolutely disgusting. I mean, just it's literally, I don't need to go into real deep detail on YouTube, but very extreme blood trails with the Grim Reaper, and it's such a wide cut and such a big cut. If you do happen to make an error with a shot, you know, even around the vital area, with it being such a large cut in diameter, there's a good chance you're going to nick something or hit something that is vital. If you're dead set on going mechanical, I would definitely try the Grim Reapers. They fly very true, like a field point. I left that out. So anyway, now I said I was going to go into the 2-blade, which you saw the Schwacker, and the Schwacker did great. The past 2 years, I was shooting the Iron Will. Now, as you can see, this one, well, maybe, it has some nicks in the blade, but this actual Iron Will was shot into a pig. About as perfect as a shot as you can get on a pig, and I'm going to show you that video here. So as you can see, this is a for a pig, the vitals are going to be a lot lower on a pig, kind of tucked in tight, low to the shoulder. This is about as good as a shot as you're gonna make on a pig. Did not find that pig. Now here's my theory. I'm going to go into why I moved to the Broadhead that I am going to shoot this year. I haven't actually gotten to put one into an animal yet, and I will do an update on that when I do. But this year I am shooting the Annihilator single bevel 3-blade 125 XL. Okay, now I love the single bevel design because they just destroy bone. If you happen to hit bone, it's going to have your bone popping. You've seen that in all the other videos that you've watched, I'm sure. And the thing about the Annihilator is it's a 3-blade, so it creates a hole. And there's a lot more. You can watch videos on Annihilators and get all the technical stuff, but the way they're designed, they actually, I can't really remember how they explained it, but it almost creates the way it's, I don't know how well it's focusing, but the way it's got the concave design, it almost creates like a vacuum, and it cuts a triangle hole, like a slug, like a shotgun slug. So that's what I'm going to be trying. And it's like, okay, so I mentioned that I was going to explain the 2-blade and the 3-blade. So a 2-blade, you're creating a slit, right? So you've got one little slit. Now this one does have the bleeders on it, but you notice they're very small. Now yeah, that's going to help nick arteries and veins, but the 2-blade design is going to create a slit that can clog easily. Didn't get very good blood trails with the Iron Wills. Didn't get very good blood trails at all. I did harvest one animal, but I lost the biggest buck of my life in Missouri last year with the Iron Wills. It wasn't the best shot. It was a little high and forward. I can't really blame it on the Broadhead. But the blood was minimal. Obviously, I mean, it's a high shot. You're not going to get a whole lot of blood there. But after that and the pig, like I say, you can't really take the deer. You can't really add that into the factor. But after the pig and not being able to find it, making that perfect shot, and we barely found blood also on that blood trail, we found minimal blood. I mean, it was literally, we found blood for maybe 50 yards and it pretty much just stopped. So that tells you it clogged up. So with a 3-blade design, you're going to have a hole with less clogging. That's my whole thing. I'm not trying to sell you on anything or any different design. This is just my experience coming from the different broadheads that I've used through the years, what's worked and what hasn't, and obviously I've developed theories of my own from seeing the blood trails, the damage that it does to a deer. So I will update you for anybody that wants me to. I'll do an update on how the annihilators do, and you'll see if you keep watching through this year what I harvest with these or what I don't. So stay tuned for that. I want to go back to the iron wheels again because I know this is a very sought after head, and I don't want to catch too much hate on you know, saying that these things aren't doing their job, because as far as quality on the iron wheel head, man, these things will, I literally blew through one of my targets and it buried into gravel, and the thing still had a tip. It's got the Tonto tip, I meant to say that, and it is a single bevel, right turning, 150 is what this is. But anyway, I buried it into rocks and gravel, and I mean, it literally had minimal damage. I mean, yes, a few small nicks, but minimal damage. I was very, very impressed. It's A2 tool steel is what they're made out of, and they are tough. I will say the iron wheel head is a very, very high quality steel and a very tough head. So for your states, you know, where you're hunting big game and mechanicals are illegal, I could be mistaken, but I believe Colorado for like elk, for your big game is illegal to use mechanicals. I think you have to have a fixed head. I could be mistaken on that, but I thought I had seen that years back. Anyway, somewhere where you have to use these, they are great heads. I want to go to a 3-blade design for the whole. That's it. I just don't like the slit, and it's just a little bit too small of a cutting diameter for my liking. I like a big cut. I mean, I want to do the max damage that I can to an animal so they will expire as fast as possible and suffer, you know, the least amount of time. As far as penetration, the iron wheel is crazy. With the right arrow weight and the iron wheel, it will absolutely have devastating penetration. In this video, it shows where I took a hard quartering shot. It actually clipped some limbs and went in through the shoulder and came out the opposing side ham quarter. So yeah, a full pass through. So that was pretty impressive. So yeah, another thing that I wanted to mention as far as your mechanicals and fixed blades. So something else to keep in mind, something that I've noticed, like the doe I just showed you, that clipped a limb. Now with an expandable, you can imagine clipping a limb, it's gonna open and probably deflect your shot. That's something to also keep in mind when considering a fixed blade as well, is you can hit something and may not mess your shot up as bad. That's just going to depend on the situation, but yes, a fixed blade will not deflect much while hitting a small limb branch, while a expandable, you barely nick a leaf or something flying at that fast. It's probably going to deploy one side and throw your shot off and kick your arrow. So that's definitely something to consider when you're shopping around for broadheads. Also, to touch on accuracy with the iron wheels, flying true, definitely I've seen some videos on the iron wheels that say they fly like a field point. Absolutely, with a well-tuned bow, which Dakota tunes our stuff and he's really good at that. With the right arrow, you know, your right arrow spine, that's a big thing. If you're a new guy coming into archery, you really want to work on making sure your bow's tuned correctly. You want to make sure you have the right spine for your bow, the right length arrow, all that good stuff. That's a huge deal. I hunted for so many years in archery with just going to the bow shop and the guys saying, yeah, these are the good arrows, you know, and just running whatever they sold me. I actually shot a 3D video years ago shooting 3D archery where Dakota was watching me shoot, and I had 3 or 4 arrows, and like a couple were like 350s, and then I had like a 400 in there, and he's like, you realize that you're getting some tail whipping that didn't, you know, just thought, okay, they're good arrows and let's slap 100 grain mechanical on there and go shoot and we're good. But now that we've really gotten deep into it and done our studying and research and realized you have to have a well-tuned bow and a correct arrow weight, which I'm not going to get all into arrow weight, you know, that's a huge thing right now. So if you do have all them things correctly done, I was shooting absolute darts, and I believe I have some video footage of that. I might be able to show you arrow flight in my arrow build video. I do have an arrow build video if you want to go back and check that out. Last year of the RIP TKOs that I built, as well as Dakotas too, but I believe there's some footage of the flight in that video, but they do fly very well. And I'm talking so much on the iron wheel because I know they're a very sought after head right now. And I just wanted to be clear that the reason that I'm going to the 3-blade design and away from the iron wheel is just because I want a hole rather than a slit. That's it, and a bigger cut diameter. Other than that, I think the iron wheel is a great head for a fixed blade 2-blade. Also, something to add to your broadhead selection. You're a new guy getting into archery. You go to the local archery store and you're looking at, you know, what do I want? So you're probably going to ask the guys behind the desk what they prefer and all that. So something to look into. You're just to dumb it down into just a basic guy going in this, like, what do I need? Here's your 2 major options to look at. Here's your 2 major things in my personal beliefs of what you should look at. Are you looking for an expandable, mechanical, or fixed? And why is because I believe your mechanical expandable is more of a disposable head, okay? Yes, lots of them, they sell the new blades and all that, and you, like I say, you can use the Grim Reaper. I keep dropping that dang bottom piece, but you can use the Grim Reaper several times before you need new blades. Now, I wouldn't recommend that because they're not going to be as sharp, obviously, but yes, after 1 or 2 uses, they're still sharp enough to kill an animal, and I have harvested animals after shooting them into an animal. But for the most part, after a few uses, which I don't even recommend because I sharpen my fixed after every use, but they're pretty much either you're going to have to replace the blades or throw the head away and use a different head and buy a new pack and replace it with a fixed head. Obviously, you can just sharpen it and you can get it as sharp as you want. Laser sharp. Now the Annihilators have came out of the package extremely sharp. They definitely did not do any fibbing on that when they said that they are, what does it say on the box, scary sharp, I think. But yes, they are very, very sharp. We'll cut paper right out of the box on the Annihilators, and you can just resharpen them after you use them. That is another key thing to look at. So are you looking for a disposable? Or are you looking for something you're also going to spend a little bit more on a fix because of that reason, because you're going to have these things for years if you don't lose them. You can just resharpen them. So those are some key things to look at: price, longevity of use, you know, just the simple things. Now you can go all over YouTube and you can find all the videos that break down each broadhead, do the broadhead test, give you all the stats and all that. But this is basically just a video for the normal guy getting into archery, or even a guy looking at his broadhead selection, kind of like I was last year, saying, man, what do I really want to go to? You know, it's just scratching your head like, I don't know if this is working. Do I want to do a better job at selecting my gear to be more efficient in the field, and that's where I was at last year. That's where I'm at now, is going to this head. So I'm gonna quit yapping. I feel like I've pretty much covered, you know, the basics of everything. If you have any questions, comment down below. I will gladly answer. Like I say, this is just my experience on the broadheads that I've used. No tests, no stats. This is actually putting broadheads into animals and in-field use. So anyway, guys, I really hope that helped you out, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. And check out all my other videos, and make sure you guys catch the videos coming this year. Should have a really good year. And as always, I appreciate it. Love you guys. I am out.